The Milescraft TrackSawGuide is the perfect companion for you to take your old circular saw and turn it into a track saw. It's going to work with any saws up to 7¼ inches or 185 millimeters can be mounted onto the plate. The Milescraft TrackSawGuide comes with 2 track saw guide rails, 27½ inches long each or 700 millimeters. You can take off these plastic end clips which just keep it in good condition, and you can slip into the aluminium extrusion the 2 jointing bars. You can put these together end to end to give you 54 inches of length with your track saw guide. This is going to be enough for you for cutting across an 8 by 4 panel, across the 4 with a bit of spare either end to get your circular saw established onto the board. We also have a pair of the track clamps. The track clamps also will fit into the extrusion to help hold the track down onto the board that you are cutting. The really clever bit with this system is the track saw guide, the red component here. This sits and slides on the track, and onto this sliding component you mount up your own circular saw. The heart and the clever part of this track saw guide is this universal base plate. What we're going to do, we're going to mount up the saw on here, we're going to drop the saw down, and then we're going to push the saw blade up against this aluminium block. This sits underneath our sliding part at that position, so you can lift your saw into position. I've already got the black end unscrewed and pushed down so my saw plate is in there nice and tight. Gonna bring the saw forward, open up the guard, it's all fully isolated, undo the lock for the height of my blade, bring my blade down and lock him off. Get the blade so he sits center of the silver aluminium plate, push the saw back so he's referencing against the aluminium plate, and what we're now going to do is tighten down the 4 fixing points so we're nice and secure onto our base plate. Our saw is now nice and secure on our red universal base plate. We can lift it off the spacer bar and we're ready to go on our track saw guides. Now that we've got the saw fixed the universal plate, what we're going to do is fix the 2 tracks together end to end to get our complete 1400 millimeters long. And we're going to use the saw to cut through this sacrificial strip so we're getting no breakout on our finished boards. To mount the pair of them together, we can take out the protective ends. We're going to mount up the pair of fixing strips underneath here. I'm going to flip it over, get these to the halfway position, and just nip these up with the Allen key provided. When you nip these up, you want to make sure that these are nice and square and in line with each other. You can do it either by feel, or you could use a straight edge just to double check that they really are lining up properly. Now we've got our tracks put together, we're going to mount this up so that the black bar is running on this narrow strip. We also have 4 black snuggers down the back here which we can also adjust to make sure we've got no slack when we are moving along our track. If you want to, you can undo these 4 little screws, push them backwards so the nylon bush is up against the back of the track, and then you've got no movement at all front to back with your saw as he runs along. You also want to make him so he's a nice smooth movement all the way when you're doing your cutting. I suggest when you cut through your sacrificial strip, you mount it on top of a piece of waste MDF or plywood. You can cramp it down and cut through the sacrificial strip and also a piece of waste board. Once you've done that and you know your saw is cutting exactly where the sacrificial strip has been cut, you can, for any future cuts, mark out on your board that needs to be cut, as I have done this end and the other end. Move your sacrificial strip so it lines up exactly with where the cut wants to be, and then you can clamp him down using the pair of supplied track clamps. Slide him into the profile and just tweak him down. There's non-slip strips on the bottom of the TrackSawGuide anyway. There's no harm not using the clamps as they're in the box ready for use. Once you've got the TrackSawGuide secured down to your baseboard with a pair of clamps supplied, you can set your depth of cut. With this size saw, you should be able to cut about 1.75" or 45mm thick. Get him set up to the depth of cut, get your dust extraction hose in there, get him turned on, and then just follow the TrackSawGuide down to cut through to your finished size that you're looking for. If you want to turn your old circular saw into a precision track saw, look at us on woodworkersworkshop.co.uk for all your Milescraft products, and follow us on our social media channels.